kind of what the chat's saying and the comments. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me, though, tonight. Let me get my cup of coffee, play a little bit more of this. And
all right, thank you, sir.
Hey, Yurt, it's the morning, not the evening.
Did I say evening?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's an eternal, it's an eternal now to me. You know what I mean? Time is
In
lost
the
all
moment,
meaning.
man.
Time has lost all meaning. It's an eternal now.
Did I say
time, man? You can't see it, man.
Are you in the show, Yurt? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm ready to hang out for a while. I'm just getting a cup of coffee, and I wanted to play the ending of this thing. But if you gentlemen can hold the fort down,
yeah, we got this, brother. Provo, how are you doing, man?
Feeling blessed this morning. I had a 3-hour, 2-hour podcast last night, just a rip roar, doing my thing. I wake up. It's nice. The content's flowing early. You got great chefs up here, but you got my guy all wrong. Okay. You got my guy all wrong.
I don't think so.
You're talking about Jack like he's some fucking content well you just can pull in and dip out of whenever you like. You can not like him, you can like him, but the fact he's such a damn good chef in these streets, we should all appreciate it. And there is a real factor. Here's something that's real about Jack. He is entertaining and charismatic, regardless if he's fucking wrong or right. And I think there's a few envious people in the YouTube streets who see his dramatic climb and rise, and they're envious. They can't start a stupid fucking YouTube channel and get 400, 500 almost subs in the short amount of time he's done it, right? So there's a real level of envy that's going on in these communities when anybody looks at a content creator and it says to themselves, wow, why does anyone give a fuck about them? Right?
About the Talcott you're saying right now?
Yeah, about Talcott. Yeah, it's impressive that Jack can come on, make a YouTube, you're echoing a little slight, and have the success he's had. Now, whether you think the success is justified or not, that's an opinion. But I think there is a real level of envy throughout the community.
Oh, and sorry, Provo Kid, we got a little echo. Sly Shy, is that you, sister?
Is that me echoing?
I think it might be.
Oh, come on, Sly.
All right, hold up. Let me turn off YouTube. Is that better?
Yeah.
And I see a comment.
So you're saying that people are jealous of Jack?
Oh, we're echoing.
Holy shit, man.
Hold on. Everyone mute up real quick. Got to get Bossy in control here. All right, no echo there. Okay, so Sly Shy, you on mute first. Yeah, that's
Is it me?
You're the mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I left one stream to come here. Okay. I'll be back.
All right, cool. Yeah, I could see a little bit of that envy for some people. I hope Talcott gets huge. I think, a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm not coming from an envy place, Provo Kid. I'm coming more from this. I see my parents in Jack Talcott. I see a dysfunctional generation that sort of fucked up the whole world in Talcott. And then I see that generation now attempting to sabotage the generation I identify with, the parents of the children now, as we're attempting to do things. I see that dynamic playing out. So that's where my frustration with Talcott comes from. For me, I see the envy thing too,
Yeah, I got boomer parents, so I'm kind of familiar with, but my parents aren't anything like Jack Talcott. But I do resonate with maybe kind of what Jack Talcott talks about. I'm familiar with a lot of the literature he's read, some of it even more than he's read. And I'm fascinated by his approach to the subject and his earnest desire to get it out there. Now, he does it in a clumsy fashion. I read a comment. Someone said he's been doing YouTube for 5 years. How is he successful? He's successful now, right? I think what he's working now isn't what he was doing when he first started 5 years ago. He's really evolved, right? As a content creator.
Has he?
Yeah, surely. It's 5 years of time. He's talking to me. So he is evolved. He has a podcast with me. He has evolved. He has a podcast with
definitely,
man. He has evolved. He's doing bigger, better things. He's talking to more people. He's reaching out. He could even do more than he already is, to be honest. But
he's not talking to the right people.
Sure.
He's not talking to the right people at all.
He's talking. Yes, he is. I think Lauren's the right person. I think I'm the right person. I think Yurt could be the right person. I think the problem is he's too busy growing a community and then getting bogged down in shitty conversations rather than seeking out higher ups in bigger communities. He's in a pond of content creators and he needs to go up.
Hey, I got to jump in here. Provo, like, you have a good point. And that's where I get frustrated with Jack and fall off, is because he is more interested in bringing people up and having conflict between two people, right? Him and that one person for 45 minutes to 2 hours. And he brings you up. He brings, Joe Cool up. He brings Freedom Girl. I mentioned it multiple times last night, how he doesn't respect your time and your energy. Your energy is there. I'm not saying that you have to talk the whole time. I'm just saying at least take 5 seconds to say, hey, Provo, do you want to jump in here real fast or something? Or, hey, Moose, you want to jump in here or
You're right.
something, because there's
to that point, there is some orchestrated chaos, right? That is being taken place on his channel. I noticed that Friday. You're like, why did this guy come to Jack Talcott's defense? Well, it was obvious to me, right? I could see the raid occurring where you had streamer after streamer. They didn't call themselves streamers, but they had a mic, right? They had a nice setup. They just randomly call into his show. They all have the same bit. It's the gay bit. What is space, right? So you have 4 or 5 callers. They all call in. They all say the same bit. Had to defend the guy. But this other kind of chaos, this organized chaos that's permeating from Paul's dad, right, is something else, right? And I think you could talk about why that's occurring. I think that's organized chaos. I think it's intentional. I think it's disruptive, right? And it doesn't really accomplish a lot of things maybe Jack's trying to accomplish. To me, it seems more like an impediment to success, a roadblock, and an obvious distraction from Jack's trajectory, which is going up. Slyshaw, you were patient. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Provo Kid. Good morning to you, Yurt. Thank you for allowing me to come up here. And Nubs, I always respect and love you. Moosey, you my man. I understand everything you do.
much
But
love,
listen,
baby. Much love.
my intake on this whole YouTube circle is not to be placed in a box with everybody, right? Not to be judged because I'm in certain places with everybody. Leave me out of the bullshit. But I do have some observations. Everybody has a character in these YouTube streets, right? Everybody has something to say in these YouTube streets. It's how you listen. It's how you take it, right? If you don't get involved with the drama or the bullshit, you don't get involved. But just because you're in a certain place don't mean you're following along with everybody else. No, when I see Jack Talcott, I go on what I see from Jack Talcott, not from everybody else's opinion, what my eyes and my ears hear and see from Jack Talcott. Talcott he is a content creator because he goes on these panels and he's the same way all the time. We don't see him on Provo Kids show. We don't see him with those other people that you're talking about, Provo Kid. We only see him in these circles, and when he's in these circles, he's doing the same looping all the time for the past 5 months that I've seen him.
And that's fair.
Right?
And honestly, a lot of these people in these communities don't have anything interesting to say. Slyshaw, I'm sorry. Everybody I've almost interacted has their own loops. They really don't talk that they really don't talk about anything interesting. They have their little side subjects. Hold on. I agree, but I think I'm a little different. And so when somebody just said, why did I turn Jack's chat from no subscribers to subscribers? Yesterday when I did that, I took Jack's subscriber rate from 438 to 459. That's why I made it subscribers only, 438 to 459 in 1 day stream. So that's why you do subscribers only. And
hey,
yeah,
Provo.
Jack does loop that. Hold on, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Were you the one that blocked me from the channel just out of curiosity?
No, I respect Jack's rule. I've never blocked anyone. That was Paul, and he admitted it on the channel. And Paul said he only timed people out. So I don't know what Paul
No,
did or
Paul didn't
didn't
block
do.
me.
Well, I don't block anybody.
It
on the
wasn't
channel.
Paul, I don't think.
Well, he
No,
admitted
I
to
was just
being-
curious.
Yeah, well, Paul admitted to blocking people, and Jack got mad at him for doing that. So
Well, as far
I've
as I
never
remember, and don't go, I wasn't there for the whole thing, but the part that I did hear him say that he did was block, or excuse me, put his dad and somebody else in timeout.
yeah, that was Paul, right?
So
other
whether
people
they
as
were
well.
blocked or not, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would never
Oh.
block you. I don't even know who you are. So
But Provo Kid,
Right. I
all
was
of
just
this, all of
curious.
it, all of this that I mean, I'm understanding exactly where you're coming from, that everybody has their own whatever they do on YouTube, right? It's up to you as a responsible person on how you take whatever is given. It's just in these, it's just it's broadcast, it's a show, it's a panel, it's
exactly.
whatever. All of this stuff is not it. You only put, if you put your business on the YouTube streets, right, people are going to respond and react to it.
That's right. And I told Jack that his problem is that he's offering the world help sometimes. I'm going to help the world, but he also asks for help. Now, here's a rule, real quick rule. Never ask for help unless you really need it. And if you ask for help, be fucking specific. And if you do ask for help, you better listen and be respectful to the people who offer or proffer their help, right? So Jack gets in this little problem when he asks for help, right? And then he gets mad at people asking him. So this is a characteristic I've noticed, and I get frustrated with this as an individual, right? So yeah, it is frustrating. People ask for help, and then they bring people on panel, then they get mad at the people for giving them help, and they don't like how they got helped, and it's infuriating. And so knowing that, you got to just, I'm trying to work with Jack to stop doing that bullshit. Stop asking people for help. We don't need to help anybody, right? You just be you. If they see something insightful of it, they take it and then they make themselves better. But Jack doesn't need to help other people, and other people don't need to help Jack. The whole community trying to help other people, it's kind of like an insane little thing that happens of like, people think they need to help Jack. People think they need to help these other content creators. Now I get it. I'm guilty of that too, where I said, I'm going to help Jack fight off the Discord community. Right. But I was unsolicited. He didn't ask for that. I just assumed he didn't know he needed the help in that position that I thought he needed. But Jack's entered himself into, I think, a problem of content creation where he can't get out of the fact that he does want to somehow ask the community for help, bring people up, listen to them, but not really, and then kick them out. What are your thoughts?
If you don't agree with Jack Talcott, you get kicked out. If you don't coddle Talcott, like Moose said, if you don't coddle him and agree with his whatever, he gets upset with you. He doesn't like me for some reason. I've not ever did anything to hurt Talcott. I've only cracked jokes and did what we all do in these YouTube streets, right? And every time I have tried to be a real person to Jack, he just shits on me, kicks me out, tells me I don't offer him shit. I'm only in my opinion and this, that, and the other. And who wants to be treated like that all the time when they come up on these panels or when they try to, engage?
That sounds
Who wants to be
familiar,
treated
Shy.
like that? Yeah, right. It does.
I feel
doesn't
like
it?
I've had that experience recently.
I saw it. You wasn't agreeable, you piece of shit.
Right.
Well, and there's a couple levels to it too. So at just the purely entertainment, we're turning the YouTube on. Maybe we're trying to get a little information, and maybe we're trying to be entertained. Maybe we're trying to kill some time as we're doing the dishes or whatever. At that level, it is what it is. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy the good conversations when it's good. If it's not good, move on. I completely support that.
Thank
The
you.
deeper-
That's what was my point exactly. Yurt, to you.
Well,
That's exactly,
hold
yes.
on until the second point, Slideshot. At another level, though, right? When we actually start having the conversations about truth, about who we are as human beings, and all these things, and we start sort of engaging at that level, that's where Jack's behavior gets odd. And I think there's some behavior that is hiding other behavior, which I find suspicious and Again,
Wait a second, you mean to say that when you see that rage in the eyes, it's a whole nother thing?
Yeah. And specifically this point, and I've told him, so I'm not like, talking out of turn, specifically this thing about why your family doesn't want to talk to you anymore. I don't think he's ever given an explanation for that. It doesn't really make sense. And I think if we knew that, that would sort of change the dynamic, right? There's something hidden here with Jack Talcott that isn't being addressed. That people feel a lack of security
5 months
and
ago,
believing.
Yurt. 5 months ago, yes, he did. He told all. I mean, we heard his. I heard his story 5 months ago.
Oh.
I heard his story too, but you're absolutely right. He only told it once or twice, so there's a lot.
Can I address something none of you guys have addressed with Talcott?
Go ahead, brother.
No. What's up, Rob?
I think that he honestly has. Hey,
Yo,
Rob.
going on?
He has a problem with women. He for some reason every time
fuck yeah.
Jack is with a woman, he always seems to throw him out. He seems to kind of down him. Talk over them. If they disagree, he especially. And then if they're cool with them, I think the only one cool with them is Jubilee, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm gonna yield there. But yeah, if you haven't noticed, I think there's a problem with him and women.
Well, it's funny you say.
Well, that's why John Vance is so easily taken on the channel with his propaganda.
It's weird, Moose. I think you're right. In some respects, he does definitely struggle with the communication with the ladies. But to be honest, the dysfunction in his communication is pretty equal as far as whether it's a man or a woman. He kind of does the same bullshit. So I understand.
Bro, what are you, this nigga's handler?
Let me finish, Rob. Don't be so disrespectful. Come up here like some bullshit artist, okay? I'm fucking talking.
I was asking a question.
Wait, learn something. I'm talking. So.
I'll go fuck yourself.
Oh, you go fuck yourself.
Oh, no.
Bravo.
You come up here being a dick. You're a dick in
Bravo.
chat. You're a dick in the panel. You're not a cool dude. You're an asshole. Shut the fuck up. So
Thank you.
what I'm saying is, are you going to interrupt me again?
Wow.
I beg to differ, Provo. I think he's a great guy.
Come on, let him say
I will
what he has to
continue.
say.
I will continue to interrupt you. I will continue to interrupt you.
You can only be an asshole to me.
Why?
Never be
Yes,
nice.
I will continue to interrupt you.
Okay,
Rob,
Because you're a
Can
Let me finish my
bozo.
statement. See,
Rob,
you
can
came
I
up with
please
these
answer
No,
answers.
I will not
thing.
let you finish your statement.
Just
You're a
this one
You
bozo.
thing.
look like a
Rob,
bozo, so you sound like an expert in bozo.
Guys.
Let me finish
Yes.
my fucking point. God, come up here to cause chaos. So my point is, Jack's an asshole.
I'm an agent of chaos. Go ahead.
There you go. All right. He said, go ahead.
He's an
owning it.
asshole equally, right? But it is more obvious when a woman comes up on panel because women don't typically come up on panel. So I think you see some of the more egregious misogynistic behaviors in him and traits in him when women come up. So I do agree with you, Brother Moose, but I also add he's equally an asshole to men.
No,
Roger
he's
that.
not. Yesterday I saw him. He kicked everybody out, and then he brought everybody back but Nubs. What the fuck?
So was he an asshole to everybody else but Nubs?
He was an asshole to Nubs, and he
Why was he an
the
asshole to
people
me,
that
though?
was kissing his butt.
So he's an asshole to a male.
Provo, why was he an asshole towards me?
You would have to tell me.
Why is he an asshole towards me?
You'd have to tell me.
The common
Well, that would be my
denominator
perspective.
here-
I'm looking for your perspective.
and
He
the,
said
You were there
I
last
don't-
night.
the common
I don't know you.
denominator.
Not the whole time. No, I started my own stream. I did my own thing. I wasn't there the whole time.
I know
The
that you
common
were there. I don't know how, I don't know you, period, but I know when I saw you, you were commenting, etc. So I know that you were there. Whether you were there for a long period of time, I don't know. But obviously, if you started your own shit, then no.
And I don't know. Sometimes see you're cammed up. If you were on his panel yesterday and you weren't cammed up, I don't, you know what I mean? So were you cammed up yesterday?
Well, I was the guy that he kicked off
Was cammed up.
consistently.
I don't remember.
I was consistently cammed up. Yeah.
I
So
I don't remember
Provo
this.
Kid,
I don't know the beef.
the common denominator with Jack seems to be people that see Jack clearly for his issues and attempt to just sort of engage in a real way, he ends up not liking. And essentially
Yes.
what I see with Jack is everyone is sort of on like a timer, just waiting, and everyone has different sort of time levels, but everyone's on a time level where suddenly they realize, oh shit, this guy's just completely full of shit. He doesn't have any of the perspectives that he claims, and there's a fraud. I know that's Champ's favorite word. There's a fraud going on here that makes people uncomfortable.
No, so there is no fraud, right? So a fraud implies the transaction, right? So everybody making the transaction with some person named Jack, a character that they already have very strong suspicions of. If you feel like you've been frauded, get the fuck out. Like if you can't.
All right, so what would you call it then?
You can't deal with
point.
this
Yeah,
character. Why are you watching? Why are you
Provo,
participating in this person you know so
Provo.
well? It's
So what would you
insane.
call it then if not
It's
fraud?
so
If not
insane. I
fraud,
would never
not-
interact with somebody if I was getting kicked off panel, if I didn't feel respected.
If
not-
being assholes.
if not
I wouldn't
fraud,
join
what
it,
would you?
But everybody here
Jesus
apparently
fucking
likes
Christ,
it.
dude!
What?
Provo.
You
I
wanna
think
interrupt
that's
me?
a good point, actually.
I was trying to ask you a fucking question and you wouldn't shut the
Wait
fuck
till
up for
I'm
1
done
second.
then, you goof. Wait till
Provo.
I'm done. Listen to what I'm saying. Hear my words.
I was
then
trying to
ask the question.
fucking ask you before you started going off,
Oh well, I
but
apologize.
you wouldn't shut up.
Well, it's a problem I have. What's your question?
Don't fucking worry about it now.
I won't. It's not. I
Oh,
already
this-
forgot about
All
it,
right,
Rob.
All right,
Provo,
Hurt
can
his
I ask the
feelings.
question?
So,
Can
so
I
you
ask-
guys
You didn't hurt my
literally
feelings. There's
both
just no
triggered
fucking
each
point in
other
getting it out
today
now.
on purpose. You guys,
Can I ask
come
the
on.
question?
Go ahead, Sly.
Please, can I ask the
Yeah,
question?
go.
Yeah, go ahead.
As an adult, right? I make my own decisions. I think for myself, right? I know how to, if I see a fraud, I leave a fraud or whatever. But why? It's the YouTube streets. Why can't we have fun with it? If it's put out there for us to have fun with it, why can't we have fun with it?
Okay, have
It's
fun,
put
but
out there for us to
don't
have fun with
bog
it.
down in the drama and the hate and the I don't like this person. This person's an asshole. Like that's not fun, right? When the negative energy,
He calls people assholes and pieces of shit, and
they shouldn't
scum and-
watch. They should stop watching, unsubscribe, dislike, check out from the dude. If you are
He
saying
cries
everything you're
about
saying
Paul
about him and
every
you
day.
keep going back to him, why?
He cries
Why don't
about
you
Paul
ask
every
Jack the
day,
same
and
fucking
he
question?
said-
Ask
Yes,
Jack the
he
same
cries
fucking
about
question.
Paul every day. He cries
Hey.
about all these different people every day, but he goes back every single
Every
day.
fucking day.
I feel like I'm your guy. I'm your enemy, you guys, because I go back and I try to cheer him on because I think that like anybody who's going to put the time
just
in every
gullible.
single
Try to
day.
enable his
No,
insanity.
seriously,
You try to
every
enable his
single day.
insanity.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
goes
yeah,
there
yeah.
every single day and does his thing, and so I'm going to support him in that. Why wouldn't you?
That's what I'm saying. If he's
Because
giving
you're
us that
enabling his
content,
insanity. That's why. We're trying to get him
how?
out of that.
He's
You're a
giving us
superhero.
his
But that's
insanity
so funny.
every
Hold on,
day,
and just let
Rob.
me hop in. Just let me hop in real quick. That was a comment I asked last night. So Jack Talcott now has this talking point about people that enable Paul, and then I raise a question: well, who enables Jack, right? And I get that we're all guilty in enabling Jack, but I just want to put out there too: what interests me specifically is not the drama of loving to hate Jack at all, but it's that I see in him a representation of this generational drama and dynamic, which has a lot of relevancy for me in my life. So that's why I continue to study him. I'm studying him like a case study of people of that generation and how they behave. So that's where I'm from. And that addresses, and Lori, yes, you're just a bit of a curmudgeon. And I see you in my chat all the time talking your shit every time I'm doing this. And it's okay because I like it because it gives me thoughts to bounce off of. But they never talk
I think
about
she should
important
come
things
up and talk about things that are important.
Right. And that's what I was
going
going to say to the point I just made. To me, it is important to study these people and think about how it reflects on me and what it triggers in me and my own personal development. So that's what I get out of it. And it feels very important to me. If you don't feel it like Provo Kid was just saying, move along, because you wouldn't engage if you didn't feel something. But go ahead and pass it around, whoever wants to take it.
My thought is this: when people talk about enablers, oh, stop the enablers. Are you guys superheroes coming to save other people? Like, what's this Mason?
Are you a handler?
No, are you a superhero? You've been watching fucking Iron Man.
I
You
never
think you're gonna
claimed that I
stop
was.
all these enablers? You're gonna save the day? Like all these fucking Captain Save-A-Hoes out in the YouTube streets. So fucking annoying. You're not saving
We
anybody. You're
sub,
not
like,
stopping
and
anything.
share.
What are you
We
doing?
sub. Listen, we sub, like, share, subscribe to all of these people in the YouTube streets for a reason, right? We just
I help
being
people laugh,
supportive.
man. Without
We
me,
just,
Jack would be on a monologue for like 2 hours without nothing to break him up.
if everybody's squeezing his butt every time he come up on the panel. I'm sorry, y'all. I behave.
No, you. God bless you. I like you, Sly.
Hey, where's JG at?
I like the guy
JG
just
being quiet. JG
smoking.
being quiet. He done told Dubs he run Philadelphia. He being quiet. He ain't saying
Are you at a
shit.
park right now, JG? That looks pretty nice.
No,
Nubs,
that's his
are you
home.
also banned from Philly? Are you also banned from Philly, Nubs? Nibs?
Yeah.
I didn't get personally banned,
From where?
but I think I am guilty
From
by
Philly.
association, and therefore I cannot go to Philadelphia.
Shit, I guess I can't go there either then.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You
the
could come
city
and
of
stay in my-
brotherly love.
You could come and stay at my house, Rob. Nubs.
okay.
You could stay at my house, and we're gonna put sticks on the street for JG.
You have now entered a thought
Well,
experiment.
and Provo Kid, to the point of people trying to be like superheroes out here, right? And I get what you're saying, and a lot of times people will overinvest, and I get all that. But at the same time, like, I believe you're a Christian, right? And it
Certainly.
doesn't Christ call us to sort of shepherd other people and
Sure.
and the brotherhood aspect of those things? I mean, in a part, you are called to save other people, right? I thought.
Agreed. But it's not by telling people what to do. It's by leading by example, right? You walk the path, they follow behind. You don't start pointing fingers and saying, you need to do this. You need to do this. Stop enabling. Stop enabling. Like, I'm going to save everybody. I'm going to tell everybody the truth and free the world. Like, no, that ain't how it works, right?
But that's what Jack Talcott says all the time. He wants to stop wars and save the world
Yeah,
and
it's
go to
entertaining.
the UN and
I like that aspect. It's comical almost. I believe
This
in
has
it.
got
For
to be a
sure.
bit.
It's delusional.
see,
gotta be a
now you
bit.
getting it.
But
now
I like
you
that.
getting
I'm
it.
a
It's
delusional
comical.
person, Sly. I'm very delusional, right?
Clearly.
I'm crazy. Yeah, I am. So I resonate with having delusional beliefs. I like that.
I actually do like that about you, Provo Kid. So sort of the I'm okay with being wrong, I think, is one of your
Certainly.
lines, right? Like, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be mistaken. But if we were going
Sounds like he
to
delights
follow,
in being wrong.
come again?
Go ahead, my bad.
We didn't
I
hear
was
you.
muted.
Oh.
No, I want to hear what you're saying. It's just a little borgy on my end. I don't know if it's my bad internet or what, but I'm missing sometimes when people are saying stuff. And we have someone down here called a piece of shit. They spelled peace, Peace. So a bit of a poet here. I don't quite
I
know
like that.
That's
who
Jack
that is.
Talcott.
But yeah, I like this.
That's Jack
Yeah.
Talcott.
I think it's Nubs. I believe he was called a piece of shit last
Yeah,
night.
Nubs
But
is a piece of shit.
before we follow anyone, we would have to sort of do a little bit of investigation. And when we do that with Jack, it gets all weird. That's the general point, right? That
It gets weird. It gets weird for me and Paul's panel. It gets weird for me in some of these drones, broadcasters and shows and stuff like that. And like Provo Kid says, if it gets weird, you get out. You know what I mean? But in most of these things that I do go into or chat or whatever, I want to be able to be myself and engage like I want to engage and stop people, with this drama bonding, putting me in shit that I don't even belong in. Like, y'all don't see me in all of that shit, right? You might see me in a chat busting some jokes on Tommy or Jack Talcott or whatever, but you don't really see me in no drama shit. So I wish y'all don't put me in it. Look, enjoy me, get to know me for who I am, right? Stop trying to put me in a box with every fucking body else. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, they always talk about how we should treat others how we want to be treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was fucking up left and right and then some, if y'all motherfuckers don't say anything, y'all are some hateful motherfuckers.
Not true.
Please tell me how.
Why is that not true?
Why?
Yes, why?
So if I tell you you're fucking up, have you ever told somebody they're fucking up? You ever had somebody like they don't believe you, or they think you hate them, or you're
I've
Yes,
held
it happened
people
last
accountable. Yes.
all right. So I'm just saying sometimes when you think you're helping someone, they're gonna isolate you, ostracize you for trying to be a helpful person. Right. So yeah.
Okay, but that
That's
still
what Jack
doesn't
Yeah,
does.
take a
answer
look
what
at
I
Jack.
said.
Take a look at Jack.
Hold up.
Jack
Take a look at
does.
Jack.
Yeah,
So
let him
how
get
I
it
would
out.
help-
Hold up.
How
I
how
said
would help-
treating others the way you wanted to be treated.
I would rather
But
be
just let him get
ignored.
it out.
That's the answer. I ignore you, right? So you want me to tell you what to do? Here's the rule: you're not in my life anymore if you can't fucking get it together. That'll help.
But if
you
you're the
realize-
one fucking up, then you're just walking away from truth.
Come here.
I didn't quite answer why. That's
So he's saying,
That's not-
Nub says, if I'm fucking up, you guys better tell me and talk to me. And I'm saying, no, that's not always the answer. Sometimes what you do is ignore people.
you don't want
We'll
people
talk.
holding you accountable.
Trust me.
For
Sometimes
their
when they
perceived-
realize
for-
they've
for-
lost something, they'll do the inner work to get it back. And if you are important in their life, and if they've lost you, they'll fucking figure it out. And if you're not that important, if they don't care they've lost you, well, then, maybe it's something else. You don't always need to tell people what to do in life. You can just fucking ignore them.
I didn't tell him
But
what
if
to
you-
do.
If
Well,
I
and
came up on
often-
these broadcasts, Provo Kid, I have to ask the question.
God bless
If
you.
I
bud.
came up on these broadcasts every day with my personal life and I say, hey guys, I'm going through this, da 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 da, and you guys start giving me suggestions, you start, reaching out, trying to help me or whatever, right? And then as soon as you do this, I go on somebody else's panel and I say, oh, you ain't giving me shit. You're a piece of shit. Oh, you're all in your opinion and you're a man. How do you think a person is supposed to feel?
He was just having a bad day.
Every day?
Listen, Bozo Kid has already said he's delusional. Why are we gonna
Oh,
go
you
back
said
and
you got
forth?
your head on
So
your
I'll
shoulders?
speak in the eye. I'll speak in the eye. I'm not
This
gonna
guy's
go. I'm not gonna
enlightened. Listen
engage
to
with
this
him anymore.
enlightened guy. Super brilliant.
Well, and what about this point? Sort of thinking of things from Provo Kids' direction, just to offer some more support in that idea. So I've had it happen multiple times on here where audience members or different people have interpreted something I'm doing, something I said, in completely the wrong way. So that happens a lot where people misunderstand, from an outsider's perspective. So when random people on the internet attempt to hold you accountable for things that don't even match up with your own experience, then why should we listen to everybody's criticism?
Well, that's why you just rebut it. That's why you just rebut
I'll absolutely agree. However, if it's your own words,
or ignore.
you
Like
can't
Provo
repeat
said.
your own words.
But that's the thing, is sometimes like if you ignore it, then it stands. And if you try to wrestle with it in some of that opposition, it gets validity. So it becomes
Well, what's the maxim of law on it? Any statement that is non-rebutted stands true.
I mean, I think you guys just don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. Sometimes people do behaviors to get a reaction, to get attention, right? And if you don't give them that reaction or attention, the behavior atrophies, it dies out. That's sometimes the best way to do it. But if they're always talking about it, right, and seeking things out and say, hey, tell me stuff. Okay, the behavior never atrophies, they never fix it. But if you just ignore them, say, look, I'm not going to address that, don't want to talk about it, then they stop talking about it. They stop seeking things out. Sometimes the best way to stop a behavior is to ignore it, not address it. You make it be irrelevant.
How do you get content for your YouTube channel if you're not
I tell them
interesting?
unsubscribe, dislike.
No, I'm saying, how do you get content for your YouTube channel if you're doing your bit or whatever it is, your character, right? And people come and they have their different opinions or whatever. That why does that say what if you don't agree or whatever, that doesn't mean you can't engage. Like most of the time I might not agree with you, but I like engaging in your chat.
Appreciate that.
Well, yeah, and I just
You know
want
what
to
I
pass
mean? I don't
to
agree with Paul, but I might not agree with Paul, but I like engaging in his chat. But because of people because people have put me in all of this drama, promoting bullshit, now I can't even go in chats because people are mad at me and angry with me for shit I ain't even got nothing to do with. So I can't even engage in chats now because people done labeled me because I hang in this chat or I hang in that chat.
We're on the same page. I get the same I understand, and your words resonate through me, /I, and I like what you're saying there.
I think
I
that
just want to
happens to
enjoy
everyone.
myself in these streets. I don't want to be cast out because I might not agree with Jack, but he kicks me out. But I like Jack. I might not agree with Paul all the time. But Paul never kicked me out. But I don't, I just can't be certain places now because of certain characters, and I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either, /I. It's an unfortunate aspect of YouTube.
Not for me.
I was gonna say,
I got a quick question. Provo Kid, is that a picture of you behind you?
no,
Is it?
dude, it's
It
been explained. It's been explained. It's of him, but he did not make it, right? I believe it's not a self-portrait, right?
The artist is really good. I'll give him that.
Thank you. It's
I
a
like
female local artist. Her name's Amy Ogden. She's a great artist, and I recommend everybody reaching out to real local live artists and engaging with them. Whether they're
Fuck yeah, support your local community. Support your local businesses. If it's not for us, everything's gone.
Absolutely, brother. I live by that creed.
Well, yeah, and I wanted to work Pamela and London Man and Dick Inner Buns down here with the cigarettes, I think, on his forehead
JG
here.
stupid.
Well, I just wanted to say that I thought I just came across this community about a month ago, and when I first saw Jack Talcott, I have to admit, like, I thought he was charismatic and charming, and I really wanted to believe what he had to say. But as time went, I tried to interact with him in the chat and kind of feel him out to no avail. And then he started talking about his plans for the UN, and like I feel so strongly about Jack as far as like anyone here that has a strong opinion on Jack feels some type of way emotionally about him, and maybe they kind of feel disappointed too. And like I really want to like him, and I really do want to see him do well. I just wish he'd get past this UN shit.
And that's a good constructive criticism. I like that.
But the whole dynamic, I agree with you, but it's such a pipe dream, nonsensical bullshit.
I agree.
And the thing that gets packed but the thing that gets packed onto that is sort of a hate for the plebs with Jack. Like I feel like Jack sort of puts his nose up at everyone that says that and is like, oh, you just don't get it because whatever. I don't even quite know his explanation. But he's like offended that we think that's nonsensical. He thinks
let's go to the
You mean
people
if your
that profit
opinion is
off
not the
wars to
same, he
ask them to stop the
persecutes you?
wars. Just talk right over me.
Everyone's aggy. You can tell people are getting mad out here on these panels, man. The audience is mad at the panels. The panelists are sort of getting mad.
Well, it's because I don't really fucking talk much, and when I do, I got motherfuckers talking all over me.
I know, Rob.
Let Rob.
Rob's been quiet for so long, and now he's ready to say something.
Wait, Rob has more than just a smile. Let Rob talk.
Yeah.
And that wasn't me feeding back either.
I mean, I ain't got shit to say now. I already said it.
Mic check.
To say he's very articulate and he expresses his points very well.
That's right.
Thank you.
It ain't just his smile and his dong.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but he does have a good-looking smile.
I don't
There you
know,
go.
baby.
When I
I
like
don't know
your
nothing about his dong either. I just heard that that Rob, you know, he's just a charismatic. What do you call it? Charismatic, charismatic. What do you say it? How you say
Charismatic.
it?
charismatic.
Charismatic. Yeah, that's Rob.
Charismatic is the word.
Yes, that's Rob.
I like your comment here, though, Pamela. You said to a narcissist, negative attention is still supplied. That's exactly the point I was getting at with Jack about the Frankenstein's monster. Is he doesn't care about the criticism. He doesn't care about people, other people's opinions. He just wants the attention one way or another, which is fine, right? Because
That's why ignoring works.
But he likes the
Right,
coddling
exactly.
better though. He likes the coddling. He likes what Moose said, what Moose was doing yesterday. Even though he was, he said he felt a little shitty about going after Nubs, but Talcott, everybody knows how to coddle Talcott just so they can hang out with him.
Bro, did
Like
y'all
I
not
even
see
got
the
Timmy
stream
thrown
on
off.
Paul's where we did like the whole hour segment of just coddling Jack with the
Yeah,
pretty
I was
music
there.
in the
Yeah,
background?
I saw it.
He was
I
eating
was
that
there.
shit up.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
But who
days are
did it? No.
priceless.
Ian did it first. Ian did it first, and then Paul followed. Yes, it was fun. It was definitely fun. He kicked me out as soon as I tried to coddle him. He didn't like it. He kicked me out.
I had to come up there and fuck up that whole
I've got a
thing.
boner.
That shit made me physically ill. Watching that
Who
shit
got a
go down.
boner? JG, you got a boner? Is that you, JG? How much
Doubtful.
you got a boner?
Was JG doing
Doubtful.
weird stuff? Did I miss it here? JG, are you doing weird stuff?
He's got cards on his head. He's got the V tongue. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, so here's my thought. I want to give this to you. I've talked to you about this before. This kind of content to me is called corpse climbing, right? So just kind of climbing off the corpses of other content, and it starts to stink of dead bodies, of negativity. Is that?
Can I ask where are you getting these little phrases from?
I make them up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was the original. I hear what you're saying, but I don't quite know what to do about it exactly. So from my experience, I'm watching this panel. I'm having my own thoughts and reactions to it. It's giving me things that I want to talk about and subjects I think are interesting. And so then I'm doing that. Is that corpse climbing to you, Provo Kid, or is that just
because the corpse is the dead content? Well, it's if it was just you reacting by yourself, that would be more of like a psychoanalytical, like you, yourself, and the content. But now you have, what is this, 9 people, and we kind of stopped watching it. I never joined when we were watching it, but the idea of like you have the dead content and you're going to climb off the bodies of it, the people on the panel, the content creator, the words said.
Yeah.
And it generates a lot of energy. It generates a lot of attention. It brings people like me up, Moose up, Rob up, Sly up, Nubs up, and everybody else. So I don't, I'm not saying don't do it, but it's something I've noticed as far as like what creates good energy or good entertainment. And is it really beneficial to corpse climb? Because you could make content about anything.
It's been going on for the past 3 months, Provo, through these same circles, all these channels. It's been going, this same thing has been going on, right? Everybody does it. Everybody benefits from each stream, right? If it's good or bad, everybody benefits from each stream. That's part of this community. That's why everybody's in everybody's chat.
This is the biggest loop.
That, and the other.
This is the biggest loop this whole community's in, right? This is the biggest loop, the corpse climbing loop, the Jack to Paul to Ian to Yurt. We're like, it's just one big loop with everybody having micro loops in it. So like we all have our little micro loops, but it's one big loop. Hey, welcome.
But is it working? Paul. Is it working?
Yurt, I added myself. I still got your keys. I added
Pop
myself.
is back.
Is it working?
Oh shit! The man has the keys to the house. I was like,
Daddy,
what
come
just
here.
happened to the panel?
Wait. Daddy, let me grab the nuts first before all these guys start grabbing your nuts.
Absolutely.
I want to grab your nuts first.
I'll be back in 1 minute. Hold it down. Are we corpse climbing out here, Paul Enslaved? Is that what's happening? Are we corpse climbing? That's what Provo Kid is saying.
Corpse climbing. This is some new lingo. Is this some Reddit
Similar to bootlicking.
No, it's my language, my terms. It's my assessment of the community I've been interacting with. It's just one really big corpse climb. You don't really go to a channel and get different content. You'd like to believe you do, but you don't.
You do.
Okay,
wait, that's a lie.
Okay, now can I
I'm
speak?
sorry. Go
Can
ahead.
I
That's a lie, though.
Can I speak for me? Because I'm on 7 days a week, at least 4 hours a day, sometime 8 to 10. What different content are you looking for that I'm going to provide that we don't talk about it sometimes? You know what I'm saying? It's one thing for people to come on once every few days and talk about what's going on 7 days a week, but there's only so much shit that I could talk about, quote unquote content, right? And not just focus on what's going on in my life or what's going on with the quote unquote community. So I don't see it as corpse climbing. I see it as I authentically, organically just go wherever the attention flows. So I'll do breaking news. I'll do Wes Watson. I'll do a few things about slavery and genocide. It's all the same deal day in and day out. We're all on a loop cosmically for thousands of years. Like I said last night, who's really looping?
No,
and it's just we're supporting each other in whatever we're doing. We just going to these different places, supporting each other, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Right? It's not like we're bound. Like I'm not bound to go to Paul and sit in Paul's shit every day. I'm not bound to go in none of these places and sit every day. I do it by choice. I do it because I have free will. Right?
Agreed.
I think that's part of it too, is some folks just like to see, like you like to see the baker every day, even if you're not buying bread. Some folks just like to check in and see my gorilla face and chat in the chat and do their little community thing and then keep it moving. So it's not always about the content. There's multiple aspects to why folks are there. It could just be to be inspired for 5 minutes for seeing you because you're part of their day.
Exactly.
And I agree with everything that's been said. Right. So, but on a larger scale, if you look at like what the stream headlines are, I'm not speaking to your content specifically, Paul, because you really do your own thing for the most part. But everybody else, the orbiters, the outside community, it's been like one big loop of drama of the same people, of the same circles. And you get the same people on the panel talking about the same other people on different panels, talking about the same conversations. So, it's interesting to see. And the corpse right now today is Jack. That's the one we're climbing. And each day might be a different corpse.
Mm-hmm.
but the difference is Jack isn't a corpse out here. He's making content every day. So it's not
exactly.
He's not dead at all. He's very active, and then we're being active with him. That's what's going on, I think.
Yeah,
I know
everybody's benefiting from it.
Corpse climbing, by the way. It's just an aspect of
benefit from the corpse. Everybody, I agree. If we're dead, we're benefiting from it.
To Yurt, though, the question's to Yurt as a content creator who's capable of making content about anything he wants, right? He has the whole world. He's a bright man to choose specifically to focus on Jack and his content. I think to myself as this content creator has more to offer, even with all these people on panel, and could have all these people on panel and conversation could be about Jack for 10, 15 minutes, but Yurt has a lot to bring people more than just talking about Jack.
And he does. You just got to pick the day. He does.
And I appreciate that, Provo Kid, but did you hear the reason why I personally made this a subject of discussion?
Respectfully, no,
said
sir.
it now like I said it like
as a case study to look at boomers and this generation that destroyed our country and that are impacting the new generation. Is that correct? If I was to recite your point?
Yeah. Well, and just the short of it is I see my parents on Jack's panel. So it's like hanging out with dad when you're hanging out with Jack. It's like hanging out with mom when you're hanging out with Jack. And in the same way I could never understand mom and dad, I can never understand Jack.
See,
did you see my father on there?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yes, I did.
They're over there bonding, and he's embarrassing himself and don't even get it.
Nope.
And to your point, I do appreciate that aspect of the meta-analysis of it. But the conversation gets driven away from that at times, and I'm guilty for doing that, so I apologize.
It's not supposed to be, even though, like Paul said, right, he might talk about the same things every day, but it's still in a different, if it's the way you take it in, right? If if you're looking for something specific from Paul, you're not going to get it unless you pay attention, right? If you're looking for something
Hey Nate, did you have anything you want to talk about real quick, or
who?
Can you hear me, Nate?
Nate.
Who's Nate?
Yeah, who's Nate?
All right,
You're in your imagination.
all right, I'm gonna get back
brother.
to it. I didn't mean to go into this,
brother?
but they're live, so I just joined. So we're just kind of going with that for the time being. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything you want to talk about specifically.
I
Are you in your
He knows he's unmuted.
No, he's playing his panel, I think.
Oh, that was my. Oh, I was talking over here. I'm sorry, Yurt.
Yeah, because we like, who the fuck is Nate?
I'm sorry, bro. That was my fault.
No, you're all good. Is Nate needing attention over there? How is Nate doing exactly?
Well, just for the update, Nate is fine. Everything is good. He's just hanging out. He didn't really want anything specific, right? I thought maybe somebody was in need of something, so I didn't realize I wasn't muted over here. That was my
Paul, didn't you hear Provo? Did you hear Provo kid say you?
No, I didn't. My mistake.
People?
What did he say?
You can't be telling people. Provo kid said you can't be telling people how to live. You can't. You're not supposed to
Paul
tell
doesn't tell people what to do. He's never told me or anybody else.
Yeah, I don't tell everybody how they need to live. I tell everybody how I live, and then other folks say you need to live like him for the rest of us.
There you go. Lead by example.
Hey, mic check. I want to say a few things real quick. Salute you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Salute you. I heard someone just say we don't need to tell people how to live out here. I think to some degree we do. We have so many homeless people out here that have not a clue how to get a home, but they have phones and these type of things, right? And they're locked into panels like this sometimes, or even Paul's panels. I've come across a few people that's homeless, right? But they have a phone. You know, they are still part of the conversations, and they need to be showed how to live and, you know, how to get these type of things that is necessary to them. So it's good conversations you are having here. Salutes to that.
Yeah, like you sometimes folks will even go and pay a whole bunch of money for others to tell them how to live and call it a service. It's ironic how one man's service is another man's form of displeasure.
And sir, can I ask a question? Some people that are homeless might be happier that way, might want to be free and travel free without having to go be a slave to the system.
I was.
Hey guys, everybody doesn't want to. Maybe some of them homeless people really enjoy being where they are without having to go through the headache of, ask some of these people. I know on these panels.
I know Benton's one of them.
Yeah.
I know. This is real simple. Benton has purpose in his life. Every time you see him on screen, he's cognizant, he's intelligible, he's well spoken, he gets it, he can read the room, and he's riding a fucking truck around making a living. He's got some purpose and meaning and structure and habituation for success in his life. If he keeps doing what he does and working with different people and branching off the platform, he's going to go somewhere. Whether it's to the top of the mountain, like everybody thinks I'm talking about, no. It could just mean a few thousand people a day who check in with you, repeat customers, where you're making a living being a broadcaster. If that's what you want, it's there for you. Why wouldn't you want that?
And I'm about to head out, but London, not to be disrespectful, I'm going to answer, because I was the person who said, don't tell people what to do. And you brought up homelessness and things like that. I think there's 3 ways to teach people, right? You can tell them, you can show them, and you can let them do it, right? So I think the best way for people to learn is to have them do it themselves. The second best way for people to learn is to show them how to do it. And the worst way is to tell people what to do. But I do agree there is a point where you can maybe tell some people in some times in some places, as Paul would say, what to do, and they might be receptive, but it's fucking difficult, right? And with that, I got to go. God bless you, Paul, Rob, Moose, Sly Shot.
Thank you, Provo.
Later, Provo. Hey, I apologize for coming at you like that earlier.
I gotta say something. Yo. They do. Paul, they squeezed them nuts hard because he was up on Yurt's panel and said, Paul.
Listen, Shy, don't do that. Don't do that. Because that's what we go from everybody showing a modicum of respect and deference to then everybody shitting on me on purpose to seem like they're not showing respect and deference. So don't do them like that, Shy. That's what you're supposed to do. When you're the god of all media, they're supposed to show a little bit of respect and deference. Not too much, not to embarrass us all, but you know. And the other thing he just said was first you tell somebody, then you show them, then they do it. You ever been to a job site?
Praise be
you don't tell somebody, then show them, then they do it. That's exactly how it works. I tell you how to fucking do this job. I show you how to do it. Then you fucking do it. It doesn't happen the other way around. You don't tell someone go build a house and then don't show them and tell them. That doesn't make
any sense. Shake, rattle, and roll, bitches.
And then we put you in the basement repeatedly every 20 minutes when we decide that we don't like what you're saying anymore. I think that's right. That's the move. Once we learn how to do it, we tie you up in the basement, don't let you speak anymore. I think.
Right. He's another one who starts thinking he's got important things to say, and it never goes well.
Nubs is a piece of shit. That's all I want to say.
Oh man. Well, you know, Moose was an agent of chaos last night. I don't know if you saw what was going on, but
were you really upset with me there, Pop?
I'm not upset with you. Why would I be upset with you? You're the agent of chaos, not me.
Not only am I a piece of shit, but I'm also a bootlicker.
No, I'm just saying. I thought I did quite fine. I rode the bull the entire time.
No, and you never donated to me in the last few months. Not once.
I haven't gotten paid yet.
You've never
swept up until June.
You never once swept up around the place to show.
It's true.
It's true.
And you know,
so he had to sell his broom and dustpan. He had to sell his broom and dustpan.
I don't even have a broom and dustpan anymore. I had to sell it to do the broadcast.
Yeah, Moose is funny, man. Moose is becoming one of my favorite characters out here because he's a very slippery character where you can't. You know, I think
he's like a trout.
My cards, but
my father comes on again yesterday. Goes, I like the Moose. I go, so you're just going to ignore the fact that he had me stricken, went on a campaign against me. I always liked him.
Right? But that wasn't all my fault. We have to clarify that wasn't all my fault because somebody reported you for scams. I didn't report you for scams at all.
No, you just got everyone together in Confederation and gave him the idea.
Yeah, I just reported you for bullying.
He starts a protest and then makes signs that say,
"Hey, but
oh, he's got to go."
And
he goes,
about it.
I didn't do that. They did it. Yeah, you protested.
Then you get strike. Then you get taken down loose yesterday. You said.
I still got like 4 days to go.
Yep. Now it's on you, boy. I didn't do none of it either, so I don't even want it to happen. But see
yeah, it's probably my fault.
And it does, man. I find myself I feel myself wanting to defend Paul Sidon. Not that he needs defense and all that, but then with what Sly just said, and I'm seeing this narrative out there where it's like they're baking that into it. So now if anyone takes your side, you know, the cold aspect and all that. So it becomes this weird thing. So I tried to relate today's conversation about my own issues with the parents and how that's being brought out in that. But people won't hear that. It'll just be, oh, you're simping for Paul and all of that when that really has nothing to do with it.
You're a bootlicker.
Right. See, and that's what I go through when I'm in different chats now, when I'm in different places. That's what I go through. Like, you know, like they want to turn on me because I support certain people. Like, yo, I don't support everything everybody says, but damn.
Yeah, but again, it's power dynamics. That's what's supposed to happen. If we'll go back to the street, you got somebody who's making moves. They're hearing about him. He's got some good product. Everyone all across town's going to hate on him and try to get him out of the way. So if you're riding with that being or you're seen with him, you know what's coming with that. So you then got to choose. You want to be riding with him and seen with him, or you want to be riding and seen with all the rest of these bozos. You know, then you got to take the flack and what comes with it. So again, I just say I ride with whoever's with truth. If I have to take the round for it, that's what it is. That's what I'm standing on. Motherfucker should be the same way. If I'm speaking truthful and I'm giving good product and we got no issues, why do they got issues with you? Because they got issues with me. Because they're hating.
Flog them in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like fans flogging women in the streets. I hope he's doing
slut shaming.
All he did was reveal himself again, like they always do. A bitter, angry incel who can't believe Paulie went from a virgin at 26 to having men and women basically tell him on a panel they want to blow him. I had Christopher James tell me I was sexy. He's leading all of the common law for Canada. He told me about 2-3 times in an interview. I said, hey, bro, you looking for trouble? Where are we going with this? He goes, oh, I don't mean like a gay way. It's just kind of attractive. Right? So, of course, you're going to catch hate when you got grown fucking men twice your age leading a whole nation in common law telling you you're sexy.
That's just weird, bro.
Yeah.
That's
I
attractive.
don't know who that
That's
was.
the thing. They want to call everything gay and this and that, whatever. There's an attractiveness about a being, right? Like this goes back to the Hollywood days. They'll say Cary Grant was gay. He was this, he was that. The motherfucker was attractive, right? I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about the way he carried himself, how he moved, what he stood for, the way people perceived him. So, yeah, he's probably out fucking guys and girls and everything else, right? According to them. You know, so they say, well, what is all that? Well, it's some kind of, masculine essence that is attractive to everybody. It's a power. It's a power dynamic, and then folks take it into the gay realm and having sex and everything else. You could be attractive and have nothing to do with being gay, right? Per se. That's animal magnetism. That's what we're supposed to have. That's what creates leaders and leadership. That's what creates communities. And have you seen what happened? When I created the version of myself that I respected and gave it away, it formed a community around me, right? And
you could be unattractive and not be gay too, right, Paul? You could be unattractive and not gay.
Oh, the ugly stick it doesn't discriminate.
She confused me.
Making sure you can be unattractive and not gay.
There are plenty of ugly gay people.
Sure. Everything exists. Yeah, that's why I love this metaverse, because everybody just keeps coming out every other day and revealing themselves. Like, I'm not changing. I'm just getting better at being me and doing what I do and calling shit out. They just keep cycling in confusion and hate.
That's because they get in their imagination and they start getting what's that other word Talcott used? Opinion. They start getting in their opinions and their imaginations, and instead of listening to the person, they want to get all into the characters and he's out. Stop falling the fuck apart.
But then again, I bring it back to square one with everybody. Hey, like asked Talcott last night. I go, hey bro, wouldn't you rather be having my experience than yours right now? He goes, of course. I go, so you'll admit you'd rather be me than be you, but won't take from me how to get to be like me than be like you. It doesn't make any sense. This is the function I never had, was player hating. I would just feel bad about myself. Hey, I'm not shit because I watch everybody get into something, getting women, getting respect, right? Being honored, being a leader in the community. And I just thought I couldn't have that, or I wasn't ready, but I never really hated on it. I just said, well, how did that motherfucker get it that way? And then try to figure out how that happened. Why is that process not in everybody, where they just look around and go, what does everybody have or doing and being that I want or that I resonate with, and how do I get to it? And then just focus on that. You'll be better for it. They want to look around and go, who's got all the shit and who's doing everything? Because I don't have nothing and ain't doing nothing, but I'm ready to hate.
Right, exactly.
You're failure all your life. Exactly all that motherfucker's riding around macking on you.
Well, and respectfully, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but your dad identifies with Talcott, right?
While he calls himself a success. Did you hear him? I've been successful. That's why I won't stand on rights and freedoms, because he's got some fiat in a bank account. He thinks he's successful as a man. It's fucking pathetic. He told me one day, Paulie, I ain't gonna listen to you. You got to show me something real. I said, what's real? He goes, money. Wait till I screenshot him what I did last month, right? He's gonna shit on himself. So I'm tired of these infidels who are bad faith, false claimers, don't live by nothing, don't really get to nothing. If they do get to something, some modicum of worldly success, they're not even fulfilled and peaceful and happy about it. They're still desperate because they know deep down you ain't a successful man. You haven't done nothing and been nothing. And when you spend up that fiat, nobody's going to remember you or want to be around you, because that's all your worth is.
Boom. Where's the bomb drop?
Dude, we don't have that. I've got a wow.
Where's Ian with the bombs? Where's Ian with the damn bombs?
Well, and the thing that happens there is that the goalpost will just shift. So you go get the money, and it'll be, well, now you hang out with all these weirdos every day, and then it'll be right. It would always just keep changing, right? You got it in a bad way, or there would be some other issue. That was
The
just a
hate
standard.
will always
you
remain. The hate, yup.
You're never going to find yourself in a life where you wake up and go to sleep and feel like you're in a flow state and everything's just moving. Bro, my life goes so fast at this point. I'm in such a flow state. And every time I go to sleep and wake up, it's just something more to either do or create and be part of. I don't have time to sit around and even look at the results. When I do, I go, I'm on to something here. So when you're in a flow state. You know when shit's working around you. You know when you're getting blessings and grace and protection.
Exactly.
You know when you're on fire and you're hot with passion and you feel and see movement. These motherfuckers are stagnant. They just sit there all day staring at the TV, waiting to die and hoping they don't spend up their chips by that time. I want to talk about successful things.
Noble American, can you please mute? You got a bunch of noise going on.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Thank you, Rob.
Or maybe you can just mute him here.
Or maybe you could just lay down in traffic, you dumbass, because you've been doing this for months. You fucking homeless.
And I tried to bring him on.
Get a fucking life. Get a purpose. Get a meaning. I'm not big on. I'm like Talcott. I'm pro-labor, anti-work, like he said. Best quote ever. I'm pro-labor, anti-work. So I'm pro-labor. I just want other people to do the work, right? It doesn't work that way. You can't fucking sit on here all day skating around town and expect to be taken credible and serious by anyone. Okay? Get some kind of purpose. Get a fucking easel and paint every day and film that. Just sit there and fucking paint day in and day out. It'll go somewhere. If you really know it's something you need to be doing. Right?
Exactly.
I sat there one day tweaking out on some shit at one of these festivals, right? Watching the guy paint. Right? Yeah, there's goofy bitches all around. I'm looking at them too, wanting to fuck with them. But ultimately, I'm just sitting there watching him paint because I saw it meant something to him. And I saw he was going to sit there all day and night for the next 3 days and look at that painting and add stuff and do this. And I want to talk to him about it. Right? So when you really know who and what you are and what you're about and what you're doing and you're passionate about it, motherfuckers are going to come watch. Right? So find your purpose and passion and be that and do that and watch what happens around you. And make sure really on some level it's aligned with maybe creating a message or an imagery that speaks to people, causes a change for the better maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, what about this talking point? And we'll pass it around a little bit too, but they raised you. He did raise you, Paul. The parents say that. So they want none of exactly. They want none of the responsibility for the bad thing that happened, but any good qualities you have, you're supposed to be eternally thankful for those. And not calling you out, truth, not lies. Just I hear that talking point a lot. So what do people think about that?
Well, let me answer first and go around, not to be egoic, but it is my father after all. So he did not raise me. He showed me some things that sometimes, like they talked about on the baseball field, some aspects of life that could lead to success in certain areas. But as far as in the mind and heart, he didn't raise me. If anything, he lowered me or kept me where I was at. He didn't have an ability to raise me up in frequency and understanding, right? So that I could see more. He couldn't take me higher so I could see more. He didn't even go higher for himself to see more. So he didn't raise me. I was raised by Lao Tzu, right? I was raised by the Buddha. I was raised by the Christ of being in scripture. I was raised by Marcus Aurelius. People like that. I was raised by great men by proxy through third party avenues, right? Because these motherfuckers are not great men and women. So how could they raise a great man or woman? They can't. All they could raise is another slave. And I wasn't that since day one. My spirit was oppositional and belligerent from day one. Go ask them in the hospital. They called me wild man. They couldn't keep me in the little fucking incubator. I was 8 weeks premature, 2 pounds could fit in your hand. And I was still bucking the system and everybody and saying, you're not going to keep me down and hold me back. So it's in you, it's not on you. And then they don't foster it. They don't nurture it. They try to put that light out because they can't control it, put you on drugs and everything else, take you to asylums, then want to sit here one day and say they raised me. No, I raised myself with the creation and other folks who did greatness despite them trying to put the light out of me and keep me down. Okay, don't tell me they raised me. I was raised despite them trying to keep me where I was at, where they're at still.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I ain't really got much to add. I was sort of in that same space. My father didn't really raise me in that same sort of way. I got the same story. I yield.
Well, yeah, and truth not lies. I'm not putting you on blast. A lot of people think that, but here's the difference. And he says the trials and tribulations made you stronger. Hence, you're looking for the truth. I agree with that. But that's what's so fascinating about the Jack Talcott dynamic, is that when we come back stronger and ferocious in our intellect, in our decisions and all of that, and start saying, hey, mom and dad, this is how you fucked up. This is how I had to learn. This is how I had to better myself. This is who I went to and figured it out. They start shitting all over that. So it's not like a Spartan upbringing where it's super ascetic and there's denial and all this stuff. And then at the end of it, I get the respect to my elders. No, they shit on you and didn't do the right thing as a child. And when you're an adult and you come back, they want to shit on you again. That's the difference.
And the other side of that is take credit for everything you've done they've not done. My father had the balls one day to say that I'm a chip off the old block. Motherfucker, you ain't well-spoken. You're not eloquent. You're not illustrious. You're not intelligent. You're not concise. You're not succinct. You're not funny, right? You're not an endearing personality. So what is it exactly I'm a chip off the old block of? Because I see it exactly the opposite. Only a perverse ego would look at me and him and think, we're same. We're like polar opposites. He's voting for Donnie. I'm going to get put in prison by Donnie for not standing on policy and code. It's laughable. How could a motherfucker raise me? This guy's acting like I'm victiming. Bro, my trials and tribulations are why I'm here. I love my fate and I love my past. Right?
They kill me with the talking points, man.
So I'm not victim saying trials and tribulations didn't make me stronger. I'm telling you, our trials and tribulations made him weaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. He's the motherfucker that said, when you're real and honest, they use it against you. I'm real and honest every day. Motherfuckers try to use it against me. How could you use the truth against somebody who's truthful and convicted? Ridiculous. You can't use the truth unless I'm ashamed of it.
I can't handle the truth.
I found that all my life I was convicted for doing things wrong by people that were too stupid to realize what's right. All my life. And all the family ties, you know, up until I was 5 years old was biological, and then 5 years of adoptive or foster care families. And then I was adopted, and that lasted 5 years, and I was kicked out when I was 15. And then I was 15 years old, and my mom said, Keith, the police are your authority. And then it clicked what was fucking wrong. It wasn't necessarily me. It was them. Everybody all my life, like I said, has been lying to me, whether they knew it or not. And when I finally realized that and realized how bad this society is, that's when it sunk in.
Well, the worst part is they're not even too stupid to understand. They're too cowardly to take on the task. I'm not accepting these people are all too stupid to figure out common fucking sense. They don't want to figure it out because then they're going to have to do something. And the subconscious is like 6 moves ahead of everybody where their conscious mind is at. So subconscious is just fucking dug in. It says, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't taking in no new information. And I ain't changing because I know I'm going to have to put my ass on the line. So that ego bucks up as a protective mechanism to save your ass. And by virtue of that mechanism, you allow it to run you, we get put in slavery and your ass doesn't get saved. So again, it's a forward escape. So they're not too stupid. They're too fucking cowardly in their subconscious, if not conscious mind, to ever even think about doing what I do because they know what comes with it and they ain't willing.
Yeah. And that's that cognitive dissonance that I always talk about. See, cognitive dissonance is that in actuality is a fear-based setup. The cognitive dissonance, meaning that you're comfortable in what you're sitting in, even though it may be a pile of shit, but you're too scared to get out of it because that pile of shit is warm. It keeps you comfortable in the cold times. Okay. And even though you smell like a pile of shit, you don't want to leave because that's when the danger is. That's when the predators will see you moving, hear you squawking. You got to get over it.
Right. When you're driving, looking in the rearview mirror, they don't want to leave the pile of shit because they're scared they may find themselves in a bigger pile of shit. So at least I know this pile. I've been here a while. I'm comfortable with this one. If I change it, who knows what's out there? Might get worse. Afraid to fail, afraid to succeed.
I ain't like the smell of shit. I got out of that shit early. I did not like the smell of shit. It was shitty. It was shitty all around me, yo. And I did not like the smell of shit. And I thank God that the Spirit of God removed me from the shit. And
amen, sister.
Yeah, rather than a cat that came along looking for a good meal.
Oh,
Yes,
I had
that's
some
the
of them
moral
too.
of it. That's the moral of the bird that decided he wanted to stay a little bit longer before he migrated with the rest of them. And then when he did finally decide to migrate, it was too cold and he had to find warmth in a pile of shit. In finding warmth in that pile of shit, a cat came along, was hungry, and ate the damn thing. The thing is, you're
Ate the
supposed to go
shit?
with the norm. And the norm is truth, not lies. Today it seems funny because so many things seem like lies. That's because so many people are believing shit and not knowing it. There's a big difference in lying and knowing something, saying something and knowing that you're lying, and saying something and not knowing like you're lying, like my mom and dad. They
Where the
honestly
word lie
did
is
not
in
know.
belief.
Yeah, they did. They honestly did not know that the police are not my authority because they didn't know me and they don't know themselves. If they know themselves, they know there is no one that has any authority over them because they are the ultimate being in their world. Just like
But
I'm
see,
the
that's what they were taught, Wizard. They were taught those. They were taught by
Exactly.
those people.
Yeah, and that's why I say, everybody's brought up in this cognitive dissonance, and that's that lifestyle of living in fear, thinking that is comfort because you feel so good and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that you're afraid to drive around without a license, right?
It's not my thing, Wizard. You hear my father? Freedom of travel and freedom of movement's not my cup of tea. It's his. Yeah, fuckface. I got up one day and said, I want to get put in jail indefinitely to stand on one of the archetypal rights, which is a freedom to travel and freedom of movement. It's like number one in the passport, right? So, it's just my cup of tea to go, I'm going to do what everyone else doesn't do, get all the consequences, have to sacrifice, possibly get killed just because I'm into that, right? It's just it's an affinity that I have. It's not what needs to be done, right? And you can tell me it's not a fucking coward.
It's like
They
Niall
call
says,
your
come on
ass
in
a
the
soft
cesspool.
shit. That's what they call you, a soft shit for wanting to do right.
Well, that's my father, what he said yesterday. He's going to vote for Trump, and doing what I do is not his cup of tea. Yeah, being a slave is, you punk-ass bitch, so drink up.
Yeah, Niall
There's a
says,
tea
come on
bag
in.
at the end of it, too, for you. You'll enjoy that.
Come on in. The cesspool is nice and warm. Well, of course, the more people you get pissing in this cesspool, the warmer it's going to get. Going on and pissing on each other.
And the more comfortable you get.
I love the human dynamic aspect of it all, though, and the generational dynamics, and sort of this, and with the tyranny, and then the parental stuff and all that, how they do produce. And I know this is the point Truth Not Lies is trying to make, but all these situations do birth righteous, stand-up people. And yeah, I do find it crazy that like Paul's dad wouldn't support him in the the calling that he's had. It is disgusting, but it leads to that inner strength where you're tested so many times by these people that it just doesn't matter what happens. You got a hold of the truth, and now you do what you want in your life. So I see it, but it's funny, and I'll just add too. It seems, and maybe we can pass this one around to other people who are watching this stuff. It seems like certain quarters are feeling a little uppity, a little empowered. Like the Jack Talcotts of the world are really thinking that they're doing something. The Trump people, all these different groups, they really think they're on the march here in some way, and that they really got, they're sorting everyone out. And
broken hoe when they're on the track fucking for daddy. They really think they're getting something. That's the whole point. You give them some bullshit game, and by the time they're out there fucking 2 a.m. for the 5th time, they're really excited because they're getting something for daddy. Right? Whatever happens, they wind up washed up, thrown away, used up, regretting their whole life, and not being able to make change anymore.
Yeah, someone hop in. Go ahead. Anyone?
Well, ultimately, I think these people have to realize, whether it be the politicians or the people wrapped up in government or religion, that ultimately they have to save themselves. No one here is going to help them with anything.
Well, I lead by example. So I'm willing to help, only if you can just watch what I do. I mean, you know what I mean?
Nibs, you're muted.
By example.
Yeah, that is a good point. I just wanted to add, we can all help each other if we really want to, you know. Depends what you have to offer and depends what you're looking for, really. I don't really know Jack, Talcott, and the rest of these guys like you guys. I'm fairly new to your community, but I enjoy just looking from the outside in. It's quite interesting. It's quite cool as well. Some good characters, some weird ones also. But overall, it's a good experience. Overall, it's a good experience.
Yeah, I would
And
just
that's all
warn
the classes
people.
are.
The people closest to home are usually the ones looking to sabotage your progress. It's an unfortunate circumstance that things are like that, but that does seem to be the tendency. You know, the crabs in a bucket and all that. So you're probably going to have to look for outside help. And then kind of like Provo was saying, maybe you come to social media looking for that or whatever, and then you find people here that are basically saying, you know, the internet's not real. Don't be Captain Save-A-Ho out here. And all this stuff. So apparently you're fucked here.
What does that even mean? The internet's not real. The fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. It sounds like cognitive dissonance to me. It's just a way to excuse bad behavior or whatever. I don't know. It's the metaverse. I don't know. I get confused by that one too.
What they mean is most motherfuckers aren't real and they want a place to come and be a fake ass motherfucker and be accepted. So the internet is very real because it's like opening a room and filling it with people who are supposed to be real people. So there's real conversations and real consequences from not listening to those conversations. So it's very real. They just don't want to be as real as it has to be here and be accepted by real motherfuckers, like always. So the whole metaverse is filled with folks who are playing a character. Then they want to project it onto me. You ain't like this in public. Bet on it, right? If anything, yeah, I'm more loving and reserved. But if you think this ain't in me, if you think this is on me for some kind of mass presentment, I live the information. It's obvious I do. So, you know, I like Jack the other day, oh, I'm going to come do something to you. You ain't like this. Well, just come do it and bet on it. The internet ain't real. You got nothing to worry about. They just say shit, right? When everyone gets locked up for all the shit they're indicting themselves for, with the feds watching, they know they're watching me at least. And they come on and say a whole bunch of shit. When you get indicted and go to prison for metaversal crimes, it's going to feel real like Talca. What's real? Oh, it feels real when they put you in a concrete box. I know. Feels pretty damn real.
Be saying some wild shit on here, man. Like the redheaded stepchild.
It does, man. And I'm not trying to go into the paranoid sort of, you know, the world is against me or against anyone. I don't like going down that thinking. But I did over the, you know, I kind of watched everything for like a week or so here. And it seems, and that's why I titled this Servants of the Conversation or Agents of Chaos. It seems people that are championing the conversation are actually the ones hurting the conversation. And the so-called agents of chaos are the actual ones trying to create some sort of order or understanding here. And then those roles are all mixed up. It's all a bit confusing. Maybe it needs to be so people figure it out on their own too, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, well, somebody promoting self-government would be conceived as an agent of chaos for those who want to be governed from something outside themselves. It's chaotic to them, right? Just like on the other side, somebody who's living self-government would find somebody who's not self-governing as chaotic. So again, it's that opposite where we look across and see the same thing for very different reasons.
I got this shitty mountain internet, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. Unfortunately, it's boring. I think hosting the panels is a little much for it. But I'm gonna be popping around on other people's panels next week or so. I'm out here in the mountains having a good time. But I hope everyone goes and enjoys these conversations, continues on. I think Paul's already going right now, so I'm sure they'll be holding court today. And if anyone has any final words, please go ahead and offer them. I'm not rushing people out of here, but I'm just kind of boarding, so it's a little distracting on
But you got to go. You're not rushing.
Don't worry. You can leave and we can still chat.
Yeah, that's what Talcott did yesterday, right?
I'll just shut it down and hop on people's channel.
Thanks for having me, Yurt. It's been a pleasure. Pamela, Paul, I can't see everyone's name. I know Wizard, and I think that's Sly and Moose. I don't know bottom left. But I want to say peace and salute to you guys, man. Much love.
Thank you,
Hey,
brother,
thanks,
for
man.
being
Yeah,
here.
you're welcome anytime.
Good to
Yeah,
see
Same
you.
here.
there.
Thanks for,
Peace out.
same here. Thanks for having me up. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you, L.
Thank
Love
Cool.
you.
Yeah, thank you for coming by, Wizard. Have a good day, man.
Much. Thank
Good
you.
to see y'all, y'all.
I will take my hand off of the Lamborghini now. So
Good job.
I'm out. You guys won the
Peace out,
Lamborghini.
Nubs.
All right,
Love you,
cool.
Nubs. Handsome.
Bye, y'all.
Got,
I'm gonna keep that.
oh, shit. I'm waiting to go. Yurt, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you. I kind of was a little, confused about you for a minute because I was like, he said, reach out. I reached out. You only responded once, so I think maybe you might have. I don't know, but you're cool with me. You know that.
Yeah,
Paul,
you're cool too, Slash.
Huh?
And
No,
sorry,
I was great.
you're borging
I was
out
going to
there a
say
little
something
bit
to
for me.
Paul. All right, I'm going to say something to Paul. Paul, love you dearly. Always watching. Peace out, buddy.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, we love you, Slash. And don't take my lack of response as any sort of insult at all. Sometimes I don't know what to say. You know what I mean, Paul? I don't always know what to say and how to respond to people. And, shit's going down. Shit, gets weird, and then you don't quite know what to say.
Well, one
So
of
I
the
just wanted
most
to
sort of
address. You go ahead.
no, go ahead. Just real quick. Yeah, one of the most empowering places you could get to is when you just become comfortable with the room and the silence, because now you don't have an enemy, right? The best way to fight is avoid a fight, to remove an enemy through your perspective. So the more comfortable you get with just letting it sit sometimes and seeing what comes out of that silence is empowering for you, because then you're not anxious. You don't feel like anything has to be done. You'll just sit there and something will come up out of it, right? So, there's kind of a time to keep it moving along and lead it. And if you have an idea, and if not, just be authentic and genuine. Let it sit and see what develops.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with some of this internet drama and stuff. And she's kind of telling me to chill and do my own thing. Well, the best way I can show you, Sly, that the message is received is in my actions. So I hear people like that, and then I step back a little bit and examine what I'm doing and things I'm doing. And so
yeah, but you're
I
a
heard
fellow. I think that's one of your mistakes still, like I've been telling you. You can't listen to other folks who, A, are not creating content, B, are not creating content you want to watch or interested in. So there's a criteria here. Why would I listen to a motherfucker give me advice like my father tried to do in the beginning? I said, bro, respectfully, I don't want any of your advice because you don't do what I do. You haven't done it. And if you did, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. So why would I listen to you? I'm going to follow my intuition, my inspiration, my excitement, wherever that is in the moment. It could be on some complete nonsense. That's okay. That's where I'm at right now. If you're not there, don't be there. Right? So you can't, doing this, take a suggestion box where everybody who's not doing it and you wouldn't listen to them anyway has suggestions about how you could be you better, because it'll never work for you first.
That's true. Yeah, that is definitely true. I would just say in this instance, I resonated a little bit with the message. That's right. How it rang true. But I do agree with what you're saying, and I like hearing that from you, because I will admit the opposite. The criticism is true, that I can get a little twisted up with the suggestion box for sure. And I was also going to bring up this comment from JG about me being on your dick big time. And I just think that's so funny, because in my own self, and I brought this up a couple of times, but I'm sitting there like usually part of that crowd that wants to tear people down a lot of the times. And I'm feeling a certain amount of resonance, or even I would go to the word loyalty towards what you're doing out here, because I see the bigger picture. And then there's haters like JG, you know, and many others who are like not seeing that for what it is, that I finally found a person who, one, I enjoy listening to, enjoys broadcast, and also feels like he's living pretty righteously. And then it's like people still encourage me to attack you. And
then they presume that you know what they're projecting, as if, why don't you call me out on all my shifty punk ways you're aware of but aren't talking about? Like, maybe you don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because if you did, you might call it out. And then when he comes up, he's not going to give you anything to actually call out. He's just going to say, you're corny, man. You're a douche, man. This isn't really you, man. You're not a gangster, man. There's no substance there, right? So just another hater. There's a bunch of haters, even in a way telling you how to be you better is a form of hater. You know, it's like, bro, you're not leaving. You're here watching. I'm doing it. If it's not great today for you, great. But I'm doing me and creating what I create. If you don't like it, you don't have to be there. These folks act like they're going to do something. If you don't, they're here all the time anyway, right? So what are they going to do? Not come back ever again because you did something one day about something you wanted to do that they didn't like? It doesn't make any sense, right? So content creator starts focusing too much on the folks consuming the content when it didn't start that way. You don't open a business and sell pizza and do better and better, and then one day someone comes in and goes, your pizza sucks, and think about remixing the whole recipe. Right? You go, okay, maybe it sucked today for you. Maybe the water's bad. Maybe we got the wrong flour. Let's look into it. But ultimately, it's like, bro, I'm serving pizza every day. X amount of folks come in and out. They eat, they talk, they congregate. It's a good atmosphere. You didn't like it today? Fine. I'm not going to go to rewriting the whole recipe. I might just add on to it, right? If they have some good criticism, hey, bro, the pizza wasn't as good as it could be. Could you throw something on top? All right. But they ain't never got nothing to ever add to it. It's just, we don't like it today, right? Well, what was bad? Well, we just don't like it. You should do better content. Okay. Could you give a suggestion? Yeah, stop being you. Stop doing what you've always done the way you do it. Oh, great.
Yep. And then if it was just me and you up here fighting, which everyone would love, there would be more people screaming, oh, you're just drama pimping. Oh, you know, flip-flopping. Oh, you know what I mean? You can't, there's always another criticism.
Right. The best question to ask somebody is, what do you do? Just fucks them all up, you know? Like, you're going to take advice from JG when he's on my panel every day, yours every day, sides with Mitchell. Mitchell does nothing all day. So I'm going to listen to people who generally all have the same habits in life and lifestyle, and they're watching me and you. That tells you everything you need to know. On some level, you're in the seat. You're in the driver's seat. You're in the power position. They're powerless. If they felt powerful, they just do what you do better instead of telling you how to do it better without giving you any constructive criticism. You got to see through motherfuckers and read them and realize they just want control. They just want to be able to be in someone's ear somewhere and say something and have it heard and see a change in you, right? They ain't going to get that from me unless it's constructive criticism. I'll listen to anybody about constructive criticism. I'll say, what could you do less of? What could you do it more of? They say, no, we just kind of like everything. Sometimes it's not for us, but we like who you are and what you're doing. Okay. You know? So, yeah, I've learned in the beginning, just based on what I knew before this, just throw that all away. Unless there's some constructive criticism you could use to add on, don't even fucking listen, because it's going to have you doubting yourself and wondering instead of just developing a flow space and a process. The more you do this, the more you get better at it and develop a process for you and therefore everyone who resonates with you, right? Self is self. So the best version of you that you're going to learn through you being you is going to be the best version you could give away for them. Whether they like that or not, all of them, not everything is for everybody all the time. Not a problem.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice. And sitting back and just watching it all sometimes. And it really did seem like there was this air in the last week or so that a lot of these haters thought the collectivizing was going to be a big success. But even like people like Jack Talcott don't realize that if you're not in connection to that truth, we're really going to work out. And the people that are connected to truth, and I'm just going to jump out the window, and people may not even understand this about.
Hey, turn your camera off here.
Oh, am I just lagging? It's this mountain internet.
Yeah, but when you turn it off, it might
get better.
People aren't going to
understand this about you, or my opinion of you, that there's even a level of what would I say? You know, because there's this thing about lying and people being honest, and you know, I know your dad called you out on a couple podcasts back. I was trying to insinuate that there's been some deception, right? And
he did it this morning again.
And Jack,
he did it this morning again.
And
we might have to hop over to mine because we're lagging. I don't mind. I would run it here, but we might have to hop over there. I want to talk to you more. But he did it again this morning. He put 3 comments on my shit saying this is sad, Paul's delusional, more lies. So, you know, but he won't ever
Yeah,
clarify.
I'll come over there and join you in a minute.
All right.
I'll shut this down and come join you in a minute. But just let me say one thing until I get there. What people like him can't understand, Jack Talcott can't understand, and a bunch of these people can't understand is I would take you being deceptive over them being honest. And most people aren't going to understand. But the ones that do. I could find out a bunch of lies about you, and they wouldn't matter as much about how these guys actually behave. But yeah, let's put this down. I'll come over there and rap with you here in a little bit.
All right.
And fuck you, JG. I'm not dicklining anyone. I identify with one. I identify with someone who's committed to the truth. But we'll do it again, and everyone should go over there and enjoy it. And no sleeping in pamphlets there, Lou Bass. We got big comfy beds where I'm at. Or maybe you're talking to JG. See, but JG, that's what I'm saying, man. What you don't realize, what you're calling dick riding and all of this is me actually identifying one person of value out here. And so you don't even get it. You're asking me to hate on the one person who's demonstrated any actual value. And not only, that's a little hyperbolic, but you bring it out with the shit talking. All right, I'll be around, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming around. Truth or Cobb, where'd you go, Truth or Cobb? I never see you anymore. We never talk. I miss you. You're close to my heart. You're a crazy one out here. I actually had something pulled up from Mr. Butthole Winker about you. He made a little parody. All right, anyways, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys all around. Good conversation. Thank you for joining me. Sorry for the shitty mountain internet. We're doing what we can when we can.